Hello students, a very good morning to you. How are you? I hope you all okay in the home and enjoying with your family, but still you need to study. Study will give us a new way for awakening. We know one day the bad day will go and a good day will come. So wait for this and do your work properly. Send homeworks regularly and never involve you in other activities. You just focus on your studies as you are in board class in class 10th. So we are trying to teach you from home and we are doing our best, and we hope you also doing your best for us, for your parents and for your school. So students, let's start our chapter. Let's continue our chapter, that is chapter 14 of class 10th, sources of energy. In my last class, I have told you about conventional sources of energy, in which we have only studied about fossil fuels. And in that class, we know that how fossil fuels are decreasing nowadays, how they are formed, and what are its disadvantages also. The disadvantage is that, as we know, when we burn fossil fuels, they produce large amount of smoke which contains some harmful gases like carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, sulfur dioxide, which is so much dangerous for human beings and it causes many respiratory problems. In today's class, we will continue the topic, that is conventional source of energy, and the conventional source of energy we will include here thermal power plant. We will study today thermal power plant, then your hydro power plant, then biomass and wind energy. And in next session we will study about non-conventional sources of energy. So let's start our conventional sources of energy. First, thermal power plant. As we know, thermo means heat. Thermo means heat. Thermal power plants are involved using heat. So how this is produce electricity? As we know, a huge amount of coal is burned to produce heat, and in that heat we produce steam by boiling water, and that steam is used to rotate the turbine, and when the turbine rotates, electricity is produced and stored in the transformers or transmitters. Then they are supplied to different areas according to their need. Here thermal power plants are always set up in those areas where the oil availability of oil, as we know oil is also fossil fuel, availability of oil and coal is easy, means for its transportation it doesn't take many distances, as it is so expensive, where its transportation is so expensive. That's why thermal power plants are generally established near coal mines or near the area where oil is properly or sufficiently available. So thermal power plant we get maximum energy, and the whole country 85% of our energy need is depend on these thermal power plants, including your trains, your factories, etc., etc., run through the thermal power plant. Clear students about thermal power plant? As we know, in thermal power plant, fossil fuel is burnt, means coal and oil, so it causes pollution. Okay, so we can't consider it as a good conventional source of energy, as it has some demerits. So let's move to another conventional source of energy, that is your hydro power plant. Here, as we know, hydro means water. Hydro power plant is depend on making dams. You know about dams, Sardar Sarovar Dam, your Tehri Dam, etc., etc. Hirakud Dam, that is present in my state Odisha. Am I right? So, to produce hydroelectricity, dams are formed, and from dams, from a high height, means the distance from the above to the bottom of the river is so much height, and the water fall, and when water fall, the turbine connected with the lower part of the dam start rotating, and when turbine start rotating, then here what happen, when the water fall from a high height, then here the kinetic energy get converted into potential energy. Okay, and sometimes you know about kinetic energy and potential energy in class 9th. So here the kinetic energy get converted into potential energy when it fall on the turbine, and the turbine rotates and electricity is produced. This is the simple way how electricity is produced, but it has also so many disadvantages. What are these disadvantages? As for making a dam, large area is required, a huge capital or money is required. So for making a dam, a proper place is chosen, and in which the persons, means tribal people, should be displaced from their original places for making a dam, but they are not given any compensation. As you know, in the last chapter we have studied that when the tribal peoples are displaced from their original place, they are not given any compensation. Then here economic harm also occurs, because dam needs a huge money for its construction, and deforestation also occurs, which affects the environment. These are the demerits of producing hydroelectricity. Otherwise it causes no pollution, but still it needs a huge money, and during its production it also, when we cut the forest or deforestation, then the harmful gases increases, due to which global warming also cause. Next is your biomass, which is the most important topic of today. Biomass means, bio means life, mass of life. Here we will study this through a biogas plant. A biogas plant is formed, remember student, this question come in your board exams as 5 marks question, long question, so you understand it in detail. As we know, biomass involves living organisms. Living organisms means either from plants or from animals. We can use the peels of vegetables, the rotten vegetables, then the organic matters produced from animals like the waste materials, and from sewage treatment plant also. And the most important matter that is used in a biogas plant is your cow dung, or which we can say as gobar. And biogas plant means gobar gas plant. As we know, gobar or cow dung is involved in it. So biogas plant is normally established in those areas where large amount of cow dung can be available. Again, if we cow dung is used for burning directly by making upla or dung cake, upla or dung cake, then it will produce large amount of smokes that will harmful for our environment as well as for us. But if we use it in a biogas plant, then it will produces no smokes and harms no organisms. So how a biogas plant is made? Let's look. Here is the biogas plant. Clear students? Is it clear? The diagram is clear? Here is the biogas plant. It contains a gas tank which is covered the biogas plant. Normally a biogas plant is 15 to 25 feet height depending on the amount of cow dung produced. Then the cow dung is made slurry. Slurry means first the cow dung is bring and water is mixed with it. After mixing with water, the slurry is put into the tank, and when it go into the tank, here a gas tank or a cover is present which prevents the leakage of gas. And here, as we know, some anaerobic bacteria are present which are called as methanogens. Methanogen bacteria. Methanogen bacteria acts on cellulosic materials. Cellulosic material means present in plants. Plant cell is made up of cellulose. Again, the cow dung contains huge amount of cellulose. So methanogen bacteria present in the cow dung start digesting the cow dung and produce methane gas. 75% of methane gas is produced, which is a good fuel. And this gas goes through the gas outlet and it is connected with the burner through which we cook food. And sometimes it is also connected with a bulb which is used for glowing a bulb, electric bulb. Again, after formation of gas, the gas is released through the gas outlet. The remnants or remaining part of the cow dung get converted into manure and they are put through another outlet, keep out from another outlet, and they may used as manures or fertilizers in the crop field. Remember students, the fertilizer or manure that is produced from biogas is rich in nitrogen and phosphorus. Remember, rich in nitrogen and phosphorus, which is a good good source of fertilizer or manure for the plants. This is how a biogas plant works, and this will causes no pollution. This is eco-friendly, but it has also some demerits because it is not enough to fulfill our requirement. As we know, there is not so much cows and buffaloes to produce cow dung. This is possible only in rural areas where so many number of cows and buffaloes found, in which we can take the cow dung and can produce the biogas. Clear, students? Next is your wind energy. Wind energy is another source of conventional energy, in which we able to produce energy from the source of wind. Here the rotatory motion works. Rotatory motion means when wind flows, then the blades of a fan start rotating, and when the blades start rotating, then the turbine inside the rotator start rotating and electricity is produced. Means here wind energy converted into electric energy and stored in the generator or in the transformer, then again it is supplied according to the need. But this has a great demerit. First, for it has a minimum wind speed. For annual wind speed is 15 kilometers per hour. Means windmills can't be established anywhere. It can be only established in those areas where the annual wind speed is more than 15 kilometers per hour. And it also needs more and more land, means hectares of land for its establishment, because the windmills are put apart from each other, having a great distance. Clear? And next is, for 1 megawatt of electricity, 2 hectares of land is necessary. You can think how much expensive it is, and this is not, I don't think this is a suitable conventional source of energy, but still we need to know about the other sources of energy, other conventional sources of energy rather than the fossil fuels, because one day will come we have no fossil fuels and no energy. We have to only depend on some other conventional sources of energy like your hydropower plants and wind energy. So here Denmark is the country which is known as country of winds, as its 25% energy need is fulfilled by wind. Are you astonished that Denmark is known as the country of winds, in which the total input of energy come from 25% come from wind energy. Clear? India has also some parts where wind energy is produced, that is Kanyakumari, which is in Tamil Nadu. There also wind energy is produced, that is 380 megawatt wind energy is produced every year. And the students, remember one thing, if India exploit, means if India tries to produce electricity from wind energy, then it can be approximately 45,000 megawatt per year. This will be a great achievement for India if we try to get all the wind energy, to get converted into all the wind energy into electric energy. So these are the topics of conventional sources of energy which we study, but still we can't say that instead of fossil fuels, all these sources of energy are so much suitable for all the people, as they are expensive and they have some bad effects or harmful effects. So students, we here need to use our fossil fuels in a manageable way, or in a great thinking, that or in a judicious, we can use it as judiciously, means after thinking so many things about future, about pollution, about its importance, needs, we need to use our resources, means use our energy sources a very little, means less than our need. In this way we can able to conserve our energy. As you have listened and know that save energy and save money and make the country best in the world and make the country economically developed in the world. So today, thank you beta. For today, this is all about your conventional sources of energy. In the next class, we will study about non-conventional sources of energy.